the last Saturday practice of the month of January 2021. It feels good to be here this morning. I've been thinking a lot about the physical practice of yoga, what we call asana. Well, what is called asana, which means posture, or a lot of the Sanskrit words have many, many different translations. And one of the earliest translations, one of the first asanas, is a comfortable seat. And that was actually the first asana. That was the reason why we did the practice, so that we could find a comfortable seat. And it's not just a practice. I just want to remind us that this physical asana practice is a privilege that we all get to enjoy. And it's just this little tiny sliver of what yoga means, what it's meant to provide. And it's really much more of a way of being, not only on the mat, but off the mat, and particularly off the mat, especially right now. And so these are things that are social ethics, moral ethics, the asana, of course, the physical postures, the breath work that we do. And those are really the tangible physical aspects of yoga. And then you move into that internal focus, that internal awareness. And I'm talking about the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga, if anyone's familiar with this. Which Ashtanga is also a physical practice, but it is much older than a physical practice. It is the literal 8 limbs. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately, because I keep hearing this, and maybe it's because I'm a yoga teacher that I keep hearing this misunderstanding about cultural appropriation of yoga and what it means to culturally appropriate yoga. And just this last little bit, I'm going to get off my soapbox, but I think it's important to honor the roots of yoga and keep all of the facets of yoga intact, and not just deduce it to our physical practice. Because that, to me, my understanding of what cultural appropriation would be to strip it of everything else and only teach physical practice. And then it just becomes exercise. So we call it, I don't know, aerobics or mat exercise or Pilates. So my goal and my hope is that when I'm teaching, when you're with me and having this experience, that you get a glimmer of insight of what yoga really is. And that seems a little bit audacious for me to say, even because how can we truly encompass that experience? That it's so much bigger than me or you or any of us, and it resides within all of us. So that's it. I hope that wasn't too over the top for Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. We will lie down on our backs to get started, as if you were taking a shavasana, stretching the legs out, arms alongside the body, slightly tilting the chin towards the chest and relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Let your palms face the ceiling in a gesture of being open to receive whatever it is that you are in need of receiving. Is there a willingness? Is there a curiosity? Start to come into your breath. Let your eyes flutter closed for these first few moments. Deep breath in, deep breath out. A few more breaths like that, just to allow your body to settle and arrive onto your mat and into this asana practice. We'll start to slowly add some movement into the body, flexing both of your toes towards your face. Take a big breath in and stretch the arms up and overhead. So both of your ankles are in dorsal flexion and your arms are reaching long. Biceps alongside the ears, really reach through the arms, shoulders shrugging up towards the ears. And then exhale, arms down alongside the body, feet relax, let them just flop open. Back body becomes heavy. Continue with that breath. Inhale, flex the toes, stretch the arms. We're really reaching through the length of the body, down through the soles of the feet and up through the fingertips, creating the longest version of yourself. When you're ready, exhale, relax, arms back down, feet relaxed. Continue with that on your own. Inhale to lengthen out, exhale to relax. Twice more with the arms and the feet. And one last time. And now when the arms come back down alongside the body, turn your palms so that they're facing down, bend your knees and plant your feet. Walk your heel bones close to your glutes. Pick up your tailbone and then lengthen out through the low back and set your pelvis back down. So you get a little bit more of the low back and contact with the mat here. Arms down alongside the body. Deep breath in, press into your feet, lift your hips. And as you do with the arms, they stretch long overhead. So we're just adding on to this movement. In your exhale, everything comes back to the mat, tailbone, arms alongside the body, reaching towards the feet. Continue with that. Press down, lift the hips, stretch the arms overhead. Exhale nice and slow to release. About 3 more times on your own with that rhythm. Steady, slow breath. Breath dictates the range of motion and the length of the movement. Breath comes first, movement follows. Next time the tailbone releases and the arms come back, pause there and then hug your knees into your chest. You can wrap your arms around your shins, or you can wrap your arms around your knees. Rock a little bit side to side. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, stretch your feet up towards the ceiling, flexing your toes towards your face. So you're lengthening out through the legs. As much as you're able, maybe your knees are slightly bent, that's okay. So this is our next progression of movement, feet towards the ceiling and arms reaching overhead. Deep breath in. And your exhale, hugging the knees into the chest. Make yourself into this tight little ball. Continue with that. Inhale, feet reach, arms reach. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Continue on your own. Twice more with this movement, this sequence. The next time you exhale, hugging the knees into the chest. Release the feet, plant the feet, knees bent. So back to that dynamic movement of bridge, and we'll put these two sequences together. So as your feet rest, your knees are bent, arms down alongside the body. You're inhaling to lift the hips up, stretch the arms up and overhead. Your exhale, releasing the tailbone. Hug the knees into the chest, continue to exhale. And your inhale, stretch the feet up towards the ceiling, reach the arms overhead. Merging these two shapes together. Exhale, hug knees into chest. See if you can continue exhaling, planting the feet, arms down alongside the body. Your next breath in, lift the hips, stretch the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hugging everything into the chest, low back long, pelvis relaxed. Inhaling to reach the feet up, arms overhead. Exhaling, hug the knees into the chest. Continue your exhale to plant the feet. When you're ready for your inhale, hips rise and arms reach. Exhale, release the tailbone. Knees into the chest. Inhale to reach the feet up for the ceiling, arms overhead. So all the way through that sequence on your own, and twice more. Feel free to close the eyes, continue to draw the awareness inward, acknowledge how you're feeling today. Last time all the way through. So we'll come back together here, hugging knees into the chest. Next time you exhale, rock a little bit side to side. And we'll begin to rock the length of the mat. So up to the tip of the tailbone, back to the back of the head, back and forth, just rocking. And you can make this a little bit big or more challenging if you like. When you come to your back, maybe the feet reach up and overhead like Halasana plow pose. And maybe when you come up to the tailbone, you pause here in Navasana with the hands, without the hands, whatever you like. Just continue on your own, back and forth. The next time you shift forward, pause on the tailbone in Navasana with the support of your hands underneath the backs of your knees, just in an effort to get more of the weight on your bony sits bones, lifting the chest, and then you can add stretching the legs long. You can release the arms if you like. Let's pause here, breathe. Point through the toes. Deep breath in, deep breath out. One more breath here. Cross up the ankles. We'll come to an upright seat. We'll have pranayama practice to prepare the body, energize, get the blood flow and oxygen moving freely through the limbs and the torso. So this is 3 cycles of breath. The first round of pranayama is breath of fire. Breath of fire is a breath that uses the belly to pump the torso like a bellows. The exhale is what we're concentrating on. The inhale happens automatically. It's a quick breath. Okay, and you can use your hands at your belly to get that tangible sensation feedback of the navel snapping into the spine if you like. You can also just release your arms down onto your thighs. So we'll do about a minute of that breath, and then we'll switch to Surya Vedana, which means it's like Nadi Shodhana in that we use our hands to alternate breath through the nostrils. We'll start by closing the left nostril so that we can inhale through the right side associated with sun, moon, or sun energy. Closing the right, exhaling through the left, and then we'll come right back to breath of fire. So we'll do that 3 times through. Okay, so find your seat nice and tall. Okay, shoulders relax over the hips, knees relax below the hips. Position your hands however you like. Take a deep breath in. Begin breath of fire. Five, four, three, two, one. Hands up to the crescents of the nose, closing your left nostril. Inhale through your right. Close right, exhale left. Right back to breath of fire at the bottom of that exhale. Position your hands comfortably. Inhale to begin. 1 minute, breath of fire. Five, four, three, two, one. Begin Surya Vedana. Right hand up to the crescents of the nose, closing left. Inhale through your right. Close right, exhale left. Last round through our breath, pranayama, back to breath of fire. Inhale to begin. Five, four, three, two, one. Surya Vedana, place your hand, crescents of the nose, close left, inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Close the eyes, release the hands to the thighs. Neutral breath in and out through both nostrils. Acknowledge the sensations in the body as they rise up and down the spine as a result of our pranayama practice. Draw the chin into the chest, bring your hands together at the heart. We'll sing the sound of Om together 1 time. Inhale to begin. Interlace the fingers to the webbing, press the palms forward, lengthen out through the arms. Continue drawing the chin into the chest, round the upper back, press it into the space behind you. With your next inhalation, reach the arms up and overhead. Keep it interlaced if possible. Straighten out through the elbows. Begin to tick-tock the body right to left. Stay grounded and rooted through your sits bones. Now, see if you can start to draw circles with the hands. So instead of just moving laterally side to side, you're rotating 360 degrees through the torso, through the hips. Pause through center, big breath in. And then change that direction of your circle. Keep breathing. Start to invoke, if you have not already, your Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath, like an oceanic quality. There's a sensation at the back of the throat. Strong breath in and out through the nose. This is what we use to carry us through our Vinyasa practice. Back through center, one more breath in, reach up. Exhale, release the arms. Roll out the shoulders. Shake out the wrists. We'll come off of our seat, so if you are using a prop, you can set that off to the side. We'll place our hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Begin to articulate the spine up and forward. Cat and cow. Arching the spine towards the ceiling and then drawing the belly down, heart forward. Pressing through strong arms. See if you can engage the inner knuckle mound of your hand here as you make contact with the mat. One more time through your cat and cow. Back to a neutral spine. Walk your hands forward, one whole hand print. Curl your toes under. Draw the hips back towards the heels for active child's pose, Balasana. Let your forehead rest. It's okay if it doesn't touch the mat. So elbows are lifted, forearms are lifted. You're actively pressing down through your hands and the ball mounds of the feet as your toes are curled under. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out here. Inhale, pull your heart forward. Find a back bend that's going to work for you. So you can utilize cow pose, or you can draw the hips down and forward for like a lazy Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And exhale all the way back, that active child's pose, lengthening out through the spine and the back of the neck. Start to move in and out of these two shapes. Inhale forward, inhale out. Exhale back. Twice more. And one last time. All the way back to active child's pose. Inhale, pull the heart forward. Toes are curled under, so lift and hover the knees, and then lift the hips all the way up and back. Downward facing dog. Bend the knees right and left. Continuing to open up the back body, warm the shoulder girdle and the hips. And notice here where you're feeling sensation in your hands. Is it more towards the wrist? Is it more towards the pinky edge of the hands? Can you roll that weight to the inner knuckle mound, index finger and thumb? Now walk your feet as wide as your mat. Walk your hands back just to maybe a handprint or two. So you're shortening your down dog and widening it. Press down through your left hand, reach your right hand across towards your left ankle or calf. Bend that right elbow as you look underneath the armpit. Now the tendency here is to roll all the way into that left hip. Can you press down through your right hip and equally pull the right hip back? Let your head be heavy. Breath in, breath out. Release the right hand, plant the palm. Left arm sweeps under and grabs the outer ankle or calf. Bend that left elbow as you look underneath the armpit. Notice that tendency for the weight to shift all the way to the right. Press down through your left foot and pull that left hip equally back in space. Breath in, breath out. Release the left hand. Walk yourself back out into a more normal version of down dog. So hips, or feet rather, hip width distance apart, hands shoulder width distance apart. Let your head relax. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, shift forward, lengthen out into high plank. Pause here. Press the floor away, slight round through the upper back. Gazing down at the floor, reach long through the crown of the head, reach back through the heel bones. Stay in your high plank. See if you can come up onto your right fingertips, maybe reach the right arm forward. Without rolling your hips too far to the left, replace the right hand, second side, come up onto your left fingertips, and maybe stretch that left arm forward. So biceps kind of alongside the ear. Replace the left hand. Lift the hips up and back, down dog. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, shift forward again, high plank. Pause here. Press down through the ball end of the left foot. Float the right leg just a little bit away from the mat. Flex the right foot, so toes are still pointing down as you reach the sole of the foot straight back. Replace right foot, second side. Inhale, left foot floats away from the mat just a few inches. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Replace the left foot, hips rise, down dog. Inhale, breath. Exhale, breath. Inhale, right leg reaches up and back. Exhale, right knee squeezes to the right shoulder. Place the foot top of the mat wide. So you're in a wide, low lunge. Your left leg, keep it active and engaged. Left knee away from the floor. Press down through your right heel bone. Squeeze that right knee into the shoulder. Breath in. Breath out. Step your left foot forward outside of your left hand. Turn the toes out. Bend the knees. Sink the hips. Malasana. So let this be only as low as your hips, your knees, and your ankles will allow. Don't force it. You can always stay up a little bit higher. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Release the hands, lift the hips up, bring the feet to parallel underneath the hips. Take a few moments here in Uttanasana to fold in. So be generous with the hamstrings, bend your knees, a lot or a little. Option to grab your opposite elbows and sway side to side, or any other bind you like. I'll pause here and breathe for 3, 2, last one. Release your fingertips to your shins, lengthen the heart forward, straighten out through the legs. Press down through the soles of the feet, keeping this halfway lift if possible. So your navel snap up into your spine and stretch your arms forward, biceps alongside the ears. Press down through your feet even more. Stand tall, reaching the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale your hands to your heart. Standing here at the top of the mat, close the eyes. Let the shoulders draw down the back. Slightly tilt the tailbone towards the backs of the knees. Squeeze the thighs. Breath in. Breath out. Blinking the eyes open, sweep the arms out and reach up. Exhale, fold all the way in. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant your palms, step into high plank. Pause in your high plank. Right foot floats away from the mat. Maybe you pop up onto your left fingertips or stretch your left arm forward. Replace left hand, right foot. Second side, left foot lifts. Right fingertips come to the mat, or you stretch your right arm forward. Replace hand and feet. Shift forward a little bit more onto the tippy toes. Come all the way onto the belly. Low cobra, walk the wrist underneath the elbows, squeeze the shoulders down the back, elbows stay close. Press down through the pubic bone, tops of the feet. Inhale, heart forward, head lift. Exhale, lower. Let the forehead touch the mat. 3 times like that. Inhale, press the floor away. Exhale, lower. Twice more. As you come back to the belly, let the forehead rest, curl your toes under, engage your thighs, squeeze your elbows close. Press right up to high plank if possible. You can use the support of the knees to get there. And then hips lift, down dog. Breath in, breath out. From down dog, inhale, stretch your left leg up and back. Exhale, left foot shifts forward outside of the left hand, top of the mat. Stay actively engaged in that right thigh, right leg strong and long. Press down through your left heel bone. Feel your left knee squeeze into the shoulder. Pause here and breathe. Gazing down at the floor, lengthen out the back of the neck. Next breath in, stepping the right foot forward outside of the right hand. Turning your toes out, heel bones work in towards one another as you bend the knees. Malasana. Second time around, you might think a little bit lower, or just notice if anything has shifted or changed. Anything you want with your arms, you can stretch the arms forward, you can bring the hands to the heart. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Release the hands to the mat, lift the hips, straighten out through the backs of the legs as you bring your feet to parallel underneath the hips. Uttanasana, forward fold. 3, 2, last one. Inhaling, Ardha Uttanasana, fingertips to shins as you lengthen the heart forward, and check out shoulders. See if you can get them at least as high as the hips, maybe a little bit higher. Activate that core body. Keep that sense of lift and strength through the torso. Stretch the arms forward. Press down through the feet even more as you reach the fingertips for the ceiling, standing tall. Exhale your hands to your heart. Pause here. Samastiti. Close the eyes, breathe in. Breathe out. Surya Namaskar B. Bend the knees, sink the hips, fingertips reach down towards the floor. Now stretch the arms forward, Utkatasana chair pose. Breath in. Breath out, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees enough to plant the palms, step into high plank. Pause in your high plank, lengthen out. And then exhale, shifting forward, move through chaturanga if you like, or just making your way to your belly. You can move to low cobra, or if you're ready for it, upward facing dog. And exhaling your way back to down dog. Full breath in and down dog. Full breath out. I'll set up the feet for warrior one. So stepping that right foot forward between the hands. Sole of the left foot spins to about 45 degrees. Bend that right knee, sweep the arms forward and up. This is an attempt to square the shoulders forward. That hip, the pelvis is facing at about 45 degrees towards the left corner of the mat. Press down through both feet. Deep breath in here. Breath out, hands down. So traditional Surya Namaskar B, option to move through that Vinyasa flow in between sides. You can modify your Vinyasa in any way you need, in any way you desire. Once you're back in downward facing dog, take a full breath in, a full breath out. On your next inhalation, we're stepping that left foot forward right away between the hands, preparing for warrior one. Really seal the sole of the right foot down, bending your left knee deep as you sweep the arms forward and up. Feel that sense of rootedness through both feet, strong legs. Deep breath in here. Breath out, hands come down. Option to move through flow, Vinyasa. Option to rest is always there. Once you're in down dog, one full breath cycle. From downward facing dog, lift your heel bones, slight bend in the knees. Taking the gaze forward, make your way up to the top of your mat. Once there, inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale to prepare for Utkatasana, bending the knees, sinking the hips. Stretch the arms forward, lift the chest and the heart. Breath in. Breath out, press through the feet, stand tall. Exhaling your hands to your heart center, pause here. Close the eyes, feel your feet root down. Visualize the color red emanating from the floor beneath you, seeping into the soles of your feet. A deep ruby red, grounding you. Blinking the eyes open, hands to the waist, shifting all of the weight into your left foot, setting up for Vriksasana tree pose. We're turning the right knee out to the right side, sliding that foot up to the inner left leg anywhere along the inner left leg. Doesn't matter how high it goes. You can just simply work the balance here, kind of rolling to the inner and outer edge of that left foot. See if you can get a little bit more weight to press down through the big toe of the left foot. And then your left hip, squeeze it into the midline. So instead of jutting the weight out to the left, really hug everything into the midline and grow tall through the crown of the head. Once you've got the balance, hands to the heart. And then maybe reaching the arms up and overhead. You could let the arms part if you like. Grow tall here in your tree. Breath in. Breath out. Maybe for a full breath cycle, you close the eyes. See how wobbly you become. Shift in perspective. Blinking the eyes open. If you've closed them, hands back to the waist. Stepping your right foot back behind you. Trikonasana footprint. So left toes are still forward. Right foot's about 45 degrees. Right hand down to the hamstring as the left arm sweeps towards the ceiling. Take a breath in. And your breath out, left hand down to shin, floor, or block as the right arm rotates to reach for the ceiling. Press down to your right foot, left foot. Pull that left hip up and back. Deep breath in. Breath out, bend the elbow of the right hand, find the waist. Set up for Ardha Chandrasana, bending the left knee. Left hand forward. Float the right leg till it becomes about parallel with the floor. You're still balancing on your left foot. Left hand like a little kickstand. If you haven't already, feel free to rotate right arm to reach for the ceiling, and even looking upward, add the gaze. Breath in. Breath out. Leave the right leg lifted. Just rotate the right hip towards the mat and bring your right hand down underneath the shoulder. Lengthen out through the spine. Reach the crown of the head forward, sole of the right foot back. Breath in. Breath out. Walk the hands back alongside that left foot. Soften into the knee and soft landing into low lunge. Press your right palm down underneath the shoulder. Left arm reaches towards the ceiling. Simple twist in your low lunge. Breath in here. Breath out. Release the left hand. Step into high plank. Optional vinyasa, optional rest. Once you find that place of stillness, perhaps it's child's pose, perhaps it's down dog. 3 breaths here. From down dog, lift your heels, slight bend in the knees. Shift your gaze forward, make your way to the top of your mat. Once at the top of your mat, inhale, halfway lift, pulling the heart forward, lifting the spine. Exhale, fold. This time to stand, we'll reverse uncurl the spine, letting the head be the last thing to rise. Begin when you're ready. Standing tall at the top of your mat, let your arms relax alongside your body, palms face forward, eyes closed here for a moment. Visualize the color orange. Blink the eyes open, hands to the waist. Shift the weight into the right foot. Left knee out to the left side. Vriksasana, second side. Left foot comes anywhere along the inner right leg. Press down through the big toe mound of your right foot. And then squeeze that right hip into the midline of the body. So keep all of that foundational work as maybe you add the hands at the heart. Establish your balance. Maybe your arms reach up and overhead. Growing tall in your tree, allowing your upper body to sway. Maybe taking a full breath in and out with the eyes closed. You could try it, see what happens. the eyes are closed, blink them open, bring the hands back to the waist. Transitioning into that Trikonasana footprint, left foot steps back. Right toes are still pointed forward. Really strong through both feet. Stretch that left hand down to the hamstring. Right arm sweeps high. Breath in. Breath out, transitioning into Trikonasana, right hand to the shin floor, or maybe block if you have it, as your left arm rotates towards the ceiling. So really reach through that left hand to pull your torso up a little bit. Press through the left foot and pull that right hip back and up. Breath in. Breath out. Bend the top elbow, find the waist. Start to transition into Ardha Chandrasana, reaching the right hand forward as you float your left leg to about parallel. Once you get your sense of balance here, maybe you add that left arm reaching back up towards the ceiling. Option to add the gaze up towards the ceiling. Breath in, breath out. Keeping the left leg lifted, we're rotating the shoulder and the hip to face down towards the mat. Two hands underneath the shoulders, lengthen out through the heart, press down through your right foot. Deep breath in here. Breath out, soft landing into your low lunge. Left leg reaches back. Plant your left palm underneath the shoulder, right arm reaches towards the ceiling. Simple twist in your low lunge. Breath in. Breath out, release that right hand, stepping into high plank. Optional Vinyasa flow. Whether you're finding stillness in child's pose or down dog, take 3 breaths. When you're ready, down dog. From down dog, heels lift, slight bend in the knees, gazing forward. You're making your way to the top of your mat. Inhaling for your halfway lift when you arrive there. Exhaling, fold. On Katasana, bend the knees, sink the hips. Weight shift into the heels as you stretch the arms forward, lifting the chest and the belly. Press down through your feet, stand tall. Exhaling your hands to your heart. Okay, second round through, we'll have a few additional options to add on. So hands to the hips, you can take a second round of Trikonasana, shifting weight into your left foot, right knee out to the side. Or if you like, you can reach down for the big toe of the right foot with your 2 peace fingers and maybe play with extending the right leg out to the side. Now, if you're going to take your right leg out to the side and maybe hold there for a few moments, sometimes it feels nice to counterbalance that by reaching that left arm out to the left side. You can always come back to tree pose and just balance in tree. Wherever you are, one more full breath. Bring everything back into the midline, hands to the waist, keeping those left toes pointing forward as you step your right foot back into that blueprint of Trikonasana. Reverse your arms first, right hand down, left arm sweeps high, breath in. Breath out, left hand to the shin or floor, right arm sweeping towards the ceiling. Full breath in here. Full breath out. Shifting into Ardha Chandrasana, a little bend in your left knee, reach your left hand forward, float the right leg up. Option to take a bind here in Ardha Chandrasana, bending that left knee, squeezing the heel to the glute, reaching back. Maybe you grab the outer right ankle. If you are taking that bind, once you have a hold of the ankle, kick the foot into the hand and lengthen the foot away from the body. Wherever you are, start to release that, rotating the right hip to the mat, right fingertips underneath the right shoulder. Pause there, really strong through your left leg. Little bend in your left knee. See if you can lift the arms straight forward, biceps alongside the ears. Vira 3 airplane. You're going to stay balancing on that left foot as you come to a one-legged Tadasana at the top of your mat, bending your right knee. Okay, still balancing on the left foot. Garudasana from here. Right thigh on top of left thigh. Squeeze the legs together. Option to double wrap at the ankles. Lifting up through the chest, growing tall through the crown. Garudasana, eagle arms, right elbow on top of left elbow. Breath in. Breath out. Nice and slow, we'll unwind. Right foot extends back behind you, low lunge. Right palm underneath the right shoulder, left arm rotates towards the ceiling. Simple twist. Breath in. Breath out, release that left hand. Vinyasa or rest. Find some stillness for 3 breath rounds. Option to stick out the tongue or audible sigh out through the mouth, flutter the lips, horse breath. So from downward facing dog, lift the heels, bend the knees, make your way up to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Shift the weight into the heel bones, bend the knees, sink the hips, lift the chest, the belly, stretch the arms forward, Utkatasana. Breath in, breath out. Stand tall, reach the fingertips long. And exhale your hands back to your waist. Shift the weight into the right foot. Second round of Trikonasana on your left side, or maybe you're taking hand to foot and playing with extending that left leg out. Even if the left leg doesn't get all the way extended, you can still play with it. That transition of lifting and binding the 2 peace fingers around that big toe. You see you just about standing tall there, maybe. If you do have that left leg stretched all the way out, maybe you extend your right arm out to the right side to counterbalance that. Wherever you are, 1 full breath. If you're extended, start to come back through Trikonasana. Everything hugs back into the midline. Hands to the waist as you extend your left foot behind you. The blueprint of Trikonasana feet. Reverse the arms first. Left arm down, right arm high. Exhale and windmill those hands into Trikonasana. Right hand to the shin or floor, left arm towards the ceiling. Breath in, press the floor away. And breath out, transitioning into Ardha Chandrasana. So your left leg floats, spine about parallel. Optional to add the hand up towards the ceiling and maybe even the gaze. Start to rotate left hand underneath the left shoulder, square the left hip towards the mat. Stay strong and active through your right foot. Little bend in your right knee. Lift the chest, reach through the crown of the head, extend the arms forward any amount. Still balancing on your right foot, stand tall, Tadasana, pull that left knee up. Sweep your left thigh on top of your right thigh. Garudasana, legs. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Left elbow on top of right elbow. Eagle arms. One breath in, breath out. Nice and slow, unwind the legs and the arms, extend that left leg back behind you, soft landing, low lunge. Left palm plant it, right arm reach it. Release the right hand. One final option for Vinyasa. If you're ready for rest, take rest. You choose to settle into child's pose or down dog. Close your eyes here for a few moments. Visualize the color yellow, as if there were a bright yellow sun emanating and lighting you up for the very center of your core. So from wherever you are, maybe you're in child's pose, you can stay. If you're in down dog, release your knees. And then we'll come to a brief seat so that we can transition into our practice of handstand. So I highly recommend having a wall to use. And if you've practiced with me this past month, you've seen me use variations with a chair. So that's always welcome as well. I want to show you a couple of techniques, or maybe these are review for you, for building that really strong foundation for handstand. So if you're using a chair for this first one, just be sure that it's set up against something solid that's not going to move around behind you, so your chair's not going to flip over, right? And be sure that it's squarely on your yoga mat. I'm just going to demonstrate this off to the side so you can see me real quick, but I'll do this at the wall with you. So from high plank, we'll walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, so we're piking our hips up. And then we'll lift one leg and then the other. Okay, so you can do that on a chair or at the wall. If you need to grab a chair, grab a chair. If you need to move your mat against the wall, go ahead. I'm going to transition my mat as well. So the key here in our handstand is going to be the arms. What I want you to think about is pressing the floor away, reaching long through the arms, letting your shoulders reach up towards your ears. The tendency is for the elbows to bend and for the weight to roll into the pinky edges of the hands. If you keep your elbows straight and press through the inner knuckle mound, you're gonna have a lot more strength to press the floor away. Keeping the neck long and relaxed, but shoulders can really shrug up into the ears. And so we'll start out using our prop. I'm using the wall. You can use your chair if you like. Find that pike position, so it's like an L shape. Press one foot back, and then the other. So my ankles are in line with my hips. My wrists are right underneath my shoulders. I'm making this L shape, upside down L shape. Press through the hands, relax your head. You can gaze down at the floor. It doesn't really matter where your gaze is right now, but do pay attention to where the weight is falling in the hands. Now lift one foot away from the prop, stretch it towards the ceiling. Flex your toes, and then relax that foot back to your prop and switch sides.
So maybe you switch sides twice more. One leg extending and then the other. Feel the work of the shoulders strong, pressing the floor away, arms straight. When you're ready, come away from your prop. Come down to hands and knees. Take a passive child's pose, stretch the arms back behind you, let the forehead rest. Maybe you wobble a little bit side to side. Okay, so release out of child's pose. Stand up. We'll move through a second technique transition using the wall, second option, or you can continue with that same work you just did as well, especially if you don't have a wall and you're just working with a chair. Just do that first exercise over again. So if you are using the wall, though, I'll demonstrate this. We'll get into position in that pike shape, that L shape. Then we're going to walk our hands back so that we're lengthening our body, belly facing the wall. Feet are going to, or hands are going to wind up about a foot away from the wall. So we're getting almost completely vertical. Okay, so go ahead, place your hands. Step one foot back and then the other. So if you're coming with me, we're using the wall. We're walking our feet up, lengthening out through the legs. Once you've got that, walk the hands back. Keep the arms straight. Don't let the elbows bend. Press into the inner knuckle mounds of the palms. Squeeze the thighs. Reach the feet and the tailbone. Reach the tailbone up towards the ceiling. So you're engaging your belly. So you can hold for 5 breaths. Start to walk your hands back out. And then when you have space, feet come away from the wall. Option to take child's pose again, or if you want to give the wrists a little break, a little active recovery, you can take the hands underneath the backs of the knees and then kind of just squat here, squeezing the wrist side to side. Okay, so those two practices are really great for building a strong foundation for your handstand practice. You can start slow, doing it for a few seconds at a time, focusing on the breath and the strength and the placement of the weight in the hands. Over time, you can add on time and holding in those positions. And that's just gonna further help your handstand practice when you go to kick up or balance in the center of the room. Because you already have that awareness of what it feels like to be stacked and the strength it requires in the shoulders and the arms and how to position the weight in the hands. So I highly recommend if you're looking to have a handstand practice, maybe this is something you add into a daily routine. Maybe you start off with like a 30-second hold and increase it over time to 60 seconds. Okay, so that's the handstand practice. We're gonna come back to the mat. So if you need space or if you need to adjust anything like your yoga mat away from the wall, you can. And we'll settle down onto our backs now. Bend the knees, plant the feet. And let's come full circle. We'll hug the knees into our chest. And as you breathe in, stretch your feet up towards the ceiling, reach the arms up and overhead. So big, big breath in here. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Twice more like that. Breath in, stretch the feet up, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest.
Once more. Now release your feet, but your knees are still bent. Arms down alongside the body. Dynamic bridge, pressing into your feet, lifting your hips. Stretch the arms overhead. Full circle, coming back to the beginning of our practice. Release everything back to the mat. Twice more. Inhale to lift the hips, stretch the arms. Exhale, everything releases. One more time. So tailbone comes back, arms down alongside the body. We'll take a static hold, and our last position will be a back bend of your choice. You can take restorative bridge, you can stack some props underneath the sacrum. You can take traditional bridge, interlacing the hands underneath the tailbone, stretching the arms towards the mat and reaching the knuckles towards the backs of the heels. You can take Urdhva Dhanurasana if it's in your practice, wheel pose. So begin your setup for your static hold. And once you're there, we'll take about 5 breaths. For 4, 3, last 2, last 1. And slowly start to release out of your back bend. One more time, you can hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit side to side. Maybe happy baby if that feels right. So from here, if there's any last movement shape you'd like to take, like a twist or halasana, feet overhead, utilize these next 30 to 60 seconds to do that. If you're doing something that has one side, be sure you change and do the second side. When you're ready, Shavasana is yours to take if you haven't already descended. Feel free to take Shavasana in any way that is appropriate for you, if that's adding props or sitting upright, taking legs up the wall. Let it be your own. When you're ready, settling in, shoulders, relax them away from the ears. Slightly tilt the chin to the chest. Breath in through the nose. You're opening the mouth, exhale. Find stillness here.
to see with love. Enlightenment is intimacy with all things. Each of us spins repeatedly from blindness to radiance, from dividedness to wholeness, and it is our impulse to stay in touch with all that is alive that keeps us from staying lost. It is the impulse to be intimate. It brings to mind the young blind French boy, Jacques Lusurion, who in learning how to navigate his way among the other forms of life in his darkness, stumbled onto the secret of undivided living. Young Jacques said, "It is more than seeing them, it is tuning in on them and allowing the current they hold to connect with one's own, like electricity." To put it differently, this means an end of living in front of things and a beginning of living with them. Never mind if the word sounds shocking, for this is love. To live with things and not in front of them, to no longer watch, but to realize that we are part of everything we see. This is the love that keeps moving us back into wholeness when divided. To love by admitting our connection to everything is how we stay well, allowing the current of another's inwardness to connect with our own as the beginning of both intimacy and enlightenment. And with your eyes closed, being still, can you sense the presence of the things about you? You feel the electricity of being that informs the world. This is from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. If you'd like to take a longer Shavasana, feel free to stay. If you're ready to move on with your day, gradually add movement to fingertips and toes. Gently moving the head side to side. And if you're on your back, stretch the arms up and overhead, breathing into the length of the body. From that position, rolling off to a side, bending the knees, fetal position. I invite you to keep eyes closed or soft gaze, to press into your hands, rise up to a comfortable seat. In your seat, feel your sit bones root, your spine grow tall. Joining your hands together at the heart, and then sliding the heels of the hands just above the head. A soft bend in your elbows. Here we salute Sahasrara, the crown chakra. Visualizing the color indigo, a connection to source, collective consciousness, and greater good. Sliding the heels of the hands right in front of the third eye, saluting Agna chakra, our ability to see the future, acknowledge the path forward, visualizing the color purple. Sliding the hands in front of the throat, acknowledging the Vishuddha chakra, our ability to communicate clearly our heart's desires. See, feel, or sense the color blue. Placing one hand on top of your heart, stack the other hand on top of that. Bowing the chin into the chest, acknowledging Anahata, the heart chakra. See, feel, or sense the color green. The seat of our soul. With reverence and gratitude for our practice, to all of our teachers, past, present, future, to the teacher within your own heart. Namaste, yogis.